welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about Legend of the Galactic Heroes Season 2. This is just off the top of my head here, because I gotta record 4 videos today, and I don't want to make that many scripts, so just like off the top of my head. And I gotta be honest with you, with this anime, I'm just not a person that is good with names. Not only in anime, a lot of times I'll have to go back and look up people's names, but just in life. Like a lot of people that I work with, I don't know their names. They think I know their names, but I don't. You come up with these like nicknames for them, and you remember that. But I don't know, it's just how I am. I'm the type of guy that remembers people for their actions, and I remember people for their personality, and I kind of think that that's really what matters. I don't care if somebody remembers my name or not, even though it is pretty easy, just Bob, basically. But anyways, with Legend of the Galactic Heroes, it contains so many characters, and I don't know their names at this point, and I'm too afraid to ask, but I don't think that it really matters, to be honest, because I know all of their personalities, and I know basically a lot of the things that they've done, and I associate that with them, and I think that that's great that they include so many side characters and supporting characters, even tertiary characters that have so much detail into their personality and so many actions that they show them doing that they associate themselves with, and I think it's great. I think they do a great job of adding so much detail into these side characters. It's like there are so many other anime out there. It's just refreshing because there are a lot of anime where the protagonist doesn't even get that much detail. It's really a fresh breath of air here. Having said that, Season 2 contains some of the most exciting moments out of the anime so far, but it also contains some of the most boring moments, I gotta be honest with you. Some of the times here when we had some of the officials of the Alliance sitting there talking behind closed doors about strategy and politics and things, not so much strategy, but more like politics, war politics basically, and I know that they did this just to show the difference between the lifestyles of you have these people that will never have to touch a drop of blood in their life, but they control all the war, and then you have Yang and everybody who's on the front lines, and they have, you know, some pretty fucked up stuff happening over there, but then these guys, they're the officials, they're just sitting behind closed doors complaining about how they don't like white bread, you know, they're just living it up, and they'll never have to touch a drop of blood in their life. It's, well, I mean, they probably will, but never in war or anything like that. And the same thing goes for their family, because they explain that as well, that any of the officials or government people, they don't have anybody in their family that goes to war, on the Alliance side anyways. But these episodes where we have all of these characters talking, it bored me to death, honestly. And there weren't really that many, but the episodes that we had, I didn't like them. So there's this episode everybody talks about that is the history episode. Some people didn't care for it, so I hear, and then some people really loved it. I'm one of the people that really loved it just because it was a great amount of information about world building as we see how everything come into play. We learned about some of the stuff before, but we got more detail as this was a full episode dedicated to that. And what I expected was just the narrator just sitting there telling you everything, which I don't really care for in a lot of anime or in a lot of stories in general, and Legend of the Galactic Heroes has these times where the narrator will just explain everything to you, just basically info dumping. But considering the length of this anime, considering the amount of detail that they have, you know, I gotta throw them a bone with this, because it would have to take like 200 episodes for everything the narrator tells us to be shown with the story, so it's alright for that. But with this episode, we have, I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. I'll probably remember it when I'm editing the video and just facepalm myself. Damn it, Bob, it's Julian Mincy. But it's the younger guy. He's training under Yang Wen-li. He learns a lot from him, and they're very close with each other. He takes this 3.5-inch floppy disk, and it's strange how they have all of this information on that little disk there, but, you know, you got to consider the source, that this was the 80s Japan when this came out. But he puts it in, and it's basically like this long History Channel themed video where we're learning about everything in their history, and I loved it. I could watch 2 or 3 more episodes like that. So in my Season 1 discussion, I said that I preferred Reinhardt over Yang Wen-li, and that Reinhardt had more characterization than Yang Wen-li. So this is something that really didn't change within the second season, but we had a lot more detail about these characters, both of them, honestly, and I really love the direction that they went with that. On one side, we have Yang Wen-li about how he's not really happy with his position in the Alliance and how everybody's so corrupt and he has to deal with him. There's one time where they put him through this inquisition, basically, where they're just asking him all of these stupid questions questions, and he's fed up with it. He's about to resign there, and I really love that part where he was just thinking and talking circles around all of these officials and just pissing them off. Plus, on the Empire side with Reinhard, even though he was getting a lot of promotions, it was still a dark time for him because obviously his best friend had just died, and it really affected him in a way that it really took him out of reality there for a moment, and it really caused some development within his character and got him to, for one, he takes things, he always took things more seriously, but it feels like there are times when he'll take things more personally now. That's just the way that I feel about it, but it really did change his character, and he's always looking back and wishing that his friend was there with him, and I can feel a lot of sadness and loneliness within his character, because we always see these reflections or shadows of his sister and then his best friend there whenever he's needing advice, because he really has no one to turn to. And there's Oberstein, and then there's this other guy on his side, which I don't really trust either of them. They're very smart guys, and they're going to do the best to win this war, I'm sure, but I think they have their own agendas in mind. I just wanted to take a moment and talk about the final battle of the second season here. To me, it was my favorite battle of the entire anime so far because of the strategy that was used. First of all, it was a battle between Yang Wenli and Reinhard, which was two masterminds of war. They really know their strategy. And basically what Reinhard was doing, he sent off the majority of his troops in two different locations to take care of stuff on either side, and then in the center he took his small remaining force and he staggered them up in walls, like right one after another. And as soon as Yang's troops would break through one, the remaining troops, like, they would just break straight through the center, and then the remaining troops would like go all the way around to the back and then get in the back of the line and then form a new wall, basically. So it was just this continuous wall that he was having to fight against, and it was such a gruesome battle that I think each side lost about between 75 and 80%. Of course, the Alliance was actually losing here in this fight just because Reinhard was wearing them out, and it was a really close battle, but then it kind of ended in a very anticlimactic way. But then again, like, if this battle had finished off and somebody would have won, then yeah, the story would have kind of been over at this point, because it really appears that on the Alliance side, there is no one that's nearly as competent as Yang on that side. But then again, we have on the Empire, we have a lot of people that can probably take him over if Yang wasn't around. And even if Reinhard wasn't there, I think there's enough competent tacticians on the Alliance, on the Empire side over here, that they could probably stand a chance in numbers, basically, because they do have a larger number, basically. But that battle, it was also really gruesome in the way that they depicted damage on characters' lives here, because plenty of times you'll have the warships exploding, and then you'll see people, they'll get hit by an explosion, and you'll see them cut off screen as they start to explode, or they'll get hit with an axe. There's a lot of axe usage in here. I'm not sure why they don't just use guns all the time, but then again, they are in a spaceship, and you don't want to pierce the hull or whatever, but sure, there wouldn't be an issue. Yeah, people getting hit with axes, getting shot, and all that stuff. There's like some suicides earlier on, but they never really go to the extent of showing gore as they do within the past, the last episode or two in the second season. As we see one of the ships explodes, and there's this person, he gets cut in half by the explosion, and his organs, his intestines are hanging out. He's like crawling, trying to I don't know what he's trying to do because his body's cut in half. I guess he's in shock at that moment. There's another guy trying to put his organs back in. And I remember that point specifically because everybody that I was watching this anime with, a few people from the dojo, we were sitting there like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, this is some crazy shit going on, because we didn't expect anything like that. So there's one last scene that I wanted to talk about before ending this video. You know what it is, when Reinhard met with Yang Wenli for the first time, and I really love this scene. My favorite moment out of the entire series so far, because here you have these two guys, they're at war with each other, trying to kill each other, but they have so much respect for each other because they respect the talents that they have. And Reinhard is offering a position with Yang Wenli for him to join him, and I'm like, Yang, just join him already, because I have such little love for the Alliance at this point. They're so corrupt, and they're so dumb, honestly. They just screw up everything, and I like Reinhardt a lot more as a character, but I think that they would do a great job if they work together. I'd love to see them like fight one battle together, and that's something that I think might happen within the story. That's just one of the predictions that I have. This is a story where you can watch it and think a lot of things are going to happen and be wrong on all of them, and I'm loving that too. So anyways, that's all I really have to say about Season 2. I absolutely loved it, except for the episodes where it was kind of boring, but that was just like a drop in the bucket compared to the entire season. So yeah, a lot of great stuff. Let me know your thoughts about Season 2 in the comment section below. Please no spoilers for me or for anybody else. If you're in a discussion and you need to spoil something, please leave like a spoiler warning and let some text go by so that you can have it drop down and have the spoilers there, because we don't want to spoil anybody for this. And anyways, let me know all about that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.